Hello guys, welcome back to Pulled from the Shelf, a comic talk podcast. I am your host, Mike Behrman, and with me, as always, a less loquacious but more intrepid Sancho Panza, Will the Boss Ross. Will?
Hello.
Welcome back, buddy. How are you?
Tired?
Yeah?
It's been a long day.
It's been a long week. There's lots going on at the comic book store. It's been a whole rigmarole of craziness, but let's not keep everybody waiting. Introducing our new fabulous guests with us this week. Several friends of ours. Starting here, my good buddy Jesse plays D&D with us all the time. Jesse, say hi to everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
With us, right next to Jesse, another good friend of ours plays a bunch of Warhammer and D&D at the store, buddy Bryce. Hey, Bryce.
Hey, how's it going?
Great, man. I am pumped up to get into it today. The always interesting Nicole.
I should be offended, but hello.
Yeah, it was like by far the least nice intro. I apologize.
Right?
The lovely Nicole here tonight.
I approve of that.
Thanks for coming out. And with us again, the awesome, by popular demand, because I asked him, one person, the awesome Nick.
Hi.
Thanks for coming back, Nick. Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
Yeah, not bad.
Pretty good.
It's been a long day.
Yep. Yeah. It's really hot and really fucking windy here in town. Anybody who's not in Edmonton. So I don't know about you guys, but like running around just to like get food and stuff was kind of like ridiculous. Because you get into your car and you're like, do, and then you get out and you're almost like kind of knocked over wherever you're going.
Oh, yeah.
I went for a walk in the forest. It was muddy. It was mosquito-ridden.
Yeah. It's just like Rain
That's
City,
why I
too.
don't go outside.
My friend brought a dog. Like,
Okay, well, you have to
the
go get
dog
the
was
dog.
muddy.
Yeah.
I had to drive her home.
Do you not like dogs?
I like dogs, but I don't want a muddy dog in my car.
But
Well, that's a pretty
puppy.
fair place
My
to be.
nice, clean car.
Yeah. That's a pretty fair place to be, especially if it's not your dog. If you have no emotional attachment to it, it's just like, what the hell? My car, man.
My car.
I'm with Nicole, like puppies, man.
Puppies.
Yeah.
I have the Dungeons and Doggy
Dungeons
shirt and
Doggy shirt
everything.
today. It's really kawaii. I like it. It's got like the little chibi guys.
baby puppies.
Yeah. Today's episode, guys, we're going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons, and most specifically Dungeons and Dragons 5e. As I'm sure if you can read, welcome to Will versus Dungeons and Dragons 5e.
Yes.
For those of you who are still laymen's, Dungeons and Dragons is what we call a tabletop role-playing game. Tabletop role-playing games essentially are really complicated rules to play make-believe with your friends. So it's a whole series of rules to roll dice and add numbers to them to see what your character in a make-believe world can and can't do, basically. Is that pretty succinct?
Yeah.
It's secretly math.
Yeah, it's basically math,
math.
reading,
Yeah.
and acting. all
Trick
in
your
one.
kids
Yeah.
into socializing and math, and then throw dice at invisible goblins.
Yeah.
There you go.
See,
But the
see
dice are
who's going to be a good
shiny.
improv person, right? Like, yeah. Throw dice at invisible goblins.
Yeah.
That sounds like selling dice to Nicole.
It's not hard. Honestly, make them shiny and I'll throw money at you.
clack.
Yeah. I am a dice goblin.
D&D really popular these days. 5e is the latest edition. 5th edition is the full form, so we're just going to mostly say 5e. Anybody who's familiar will know. It's really, really taken off since 5e has come. Anybody who's not been paying attention, especially stuff on Twitch TV with the advent of like gaming TV and stuff like that, D&D really blew up in a big way thanks to lots of people love Critical Role, but there's like 1,000 other channels with like 1,000 other followers. Or like 1,000 followers minimum or something like that
Oh,
on
yeah.
Twitch. It was like a lot. I was looking it up the other day.
My-
There's a
my-
lot of RPG
My
Yeah.
favorite is when they're like, an actual play of playing. I'm like, I hope so. That's what I came to watch.
Well,
Yeah,
'cause
great.
You've got the people who are like live
Yeah.
playing, and then you've got the podcast where they're live playing, and then you've got the podcast where they're playing, but it's more story based, and then you've got the ones that are just, I'm laughing because they make funny
No,
jokes.
my take on it is like, I know the difference. Just my take on it is like when you see like a fruit that's like, it's organic. You're like, I hope so. How you're not going to not eat an organic
Yeah.
thing?
A live improvised D&D event. You're like, well, yeah, man, that's
Yeah.
kind of the whole game.
Just say you're playing D&D.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just a matter of whether you cut out the arguing over dice rolls and math.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if there's live play and then like just play.
Yeah,
Personally, I prefer
I-
the live play.
I prefer the play.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I rather like, I like the fact that it's the same thing that I actually like watching like gamers online. I'd way as much as I am into some of the more pro scenes, I'd way rather just watch somebody play the game who's good at it, but like averagely good, because it's a lot more relatable. You know what I mean? Same thing. Whereas like if say some guys who I think are playing a really cool campaign have to sit there and remember what the shit half cover does, then I'm like, yes, dude, every time in my life,
but
it makes
it's-
me feel good.
It's
right? So-
completely understandable
Yeah.
that that's like a concern, I guess. Looking for the right word here. But on the other hand, you kind of want the frickin'
sack of bees.
sure. You want your like when I watch people play puzzle games. I watch them play these puzzle games and I'm like, I know the answer. Just do the thing. And like that, I have that same reaction to like the entertainment I consume for say D&D. Like live play
Oh, you're
is
that
just
guy.
okay. I figured out the answer. Just do the thing.
You don't like horror movies,
like
do you?
That's my.
I can just kill him already.
Because
God.
zombie movies aren't going to go well for you.
No.
I was afraid of zombies when I was younger.
Oh, that's funny.
But very, very specifically, like I like any D&D. Just like it's entertainment. I find it
prefer the cut
entertaining.
one, yeah.
I realize that it's entertainment and not like this is what your experience will be like with D&D. And I think that's something important to come to terms with, because
Not all D&D is the same.
yeah,
No.
a
You're
lot of
gonna
the
get
time
out
you
of
can
it what you
get
get out of
given this perfect ideal image from say like Critical Role or
I don't know.
NADPOD.
An entire episode of them shopping seems very realistic in my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
But
Yeah,
Right,
but they
it's
do
like
it with
a
such
table
charisma that it's like okay.
Oh, like I
So-
heard your guys' table where you spent like 3 days in a city.
No.
3 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
We counted with nail sets. We were in Neverwinter for 4 months.
But you guys are acting like that whole thing like didn't involve like a whole bunch of other encounters.
Oh,
right?
no,
It's
it
not
was
like we're
hilarious.
shopping for 4 months,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
We're doing
you
a bunch
can,
of stuff.
You can run an entire campaign in one city.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We basically had like a mini one. So I totally agree. D&D is a big thing that you're going to get out of what you put into it, and the enjoyment value of the stuff is kind of up to how you enjoy it and just figuring that out and just playing it and just going for it. But I like the fallibleness of like, because I think something that's like more cut and edited, if we're talking about like casting really quickly, I think that it's almost misrepresentative of the actual experience. You know what I mean? So and it gives like a different, hey, like your game's not going to go that way. There's going to be big stoppages in play where we sit there and look
for
at the
sure.
rule book.
And
It's one of the
some-
things that I like about like the channel that I personally watch is called Table Story, and one of the guys that I like on it is this English dude who DMs a lot, and he's really funny, which is why I like him, because he's got a dry sense of humor. Reminds me about my dad, but at the same time, I really enjoy him because he's kind of like me in the fact that he's got all the basics rules down and all that stuff works, but all like the actual like precise
Nitty-gritty.
stuff and nitty gritty, especially like the class like specific mechanics, he has no fucking idea. Just like me,
Yeah.
right? He's just like, all right, so what does a monk do? Like, just tell me. Like, I don't know, right? Just I believe you, right? And I think that goes a long way, because you at the end of his campaign, I'm just like, man, what a great story and really cool character work by him and like good world building. And as a DM with my vision, I'm like, that stuff matters less to me because I want to go work on all that other stuff that he does well.
Oh, for
You know
sure.
what I mean?
Like at some point, it's going to end up feeling more like the more of that arguing and the rules management that you cut out, the more it starts feeling like a show rather than a bunch of people sitting around
Playing
the table
D&D,
rolling
like,
dice.
actually.
But I think you can still get it, because I know for me, when it's D&D, like I play for the story. It's a video
for
game where
sure.
I want to do the story. So if I'm listening to one online, like NADPOD, we listen to a guy learn how to play D&D through it. Yeah, they cut out them trying to count, because if we sat there for 20 minutes watching them count, it would be me playing a rogue, and nobody wants to sit there and watch me count 30 sneak attack dice.
Yeah.
So I think if you go into it with well, I know this is a podcast, it's not that bad.
Hey, sorry for the brief interruption, guys. We were going on about some D&D casting that we were talking about, and sorry to interrupt you and just swerve right off your point, Nicole, but I'm going to do it
That's okay.
because
town.
I'm the host and I just decided that it's going to happen.
I lost my point anyway.
Well, we're going off a little bit about D&D casting.
I think at some point we're just gonna start running in circles about
Yeah,
it. So.
and enjoyment about different ways to play the game, different ways to listen to it, and I think what I want to get into is the game itself as a game, and a big part of that is that I want to shut up and let Will talk because I know Will's pretty hot about. He's got some fresh takes, and I know that there is imperfections in the game, and the reason why I wanted to start by talking about where 5e is and where it's gotten and mention casting is because I think it's the context of the success of 5e is important to the argument. That being said, I know that lots of people have different opinions on the actual core system itself, so we're not arguing about which Final Fantasy is the best story, we're arguing about which one is the best mechanics. You know what I mean? That's what we're talking about today for 5e. Like, which gameplay-wise, what stuff, like, works and what doesn't work with us. Personally, I think that 5e is really successful at a lot of things, and it's my preferred RP system. But I think there's a lot of really valid gripes with it. But I want to know Will's stance on 5e.
Let's hear it.
Fight.
Here comes a dangerous question.
Yep. First off, hi, Mike's dad. I've been waiting for you to last 5 minutes to finish your speech so I could say that because you said my dad,
Yeah.
and he'll probably listen to this hopefully.
I hope so. Good old Keith.
Yeah,
I do.
the man who comes in and says, "Do you remember who I am?"
Every time.
Every time.
That guy rules.
But yeah, D&D. Well, I guess for someone to understand my position on this, I've been playing this forever. Like you call me the grandpa or the Dad Will when it comes to gaming.
Yeah, you're like you're the equivalent of my drag mom of DMs. Hey, anyone who doesn't understand, my Ray and me really like RuPaul's Drag Race,
yeah.
like a bunch of other people. I know Jesse digs RuPaul. I know Nicole does.
Oh, it's fun stuff, man.
Your drag mom is like your drag mentor. So Will, basically, I started DMing again here at the store 2.5 years ago,
Yeah.
and Will was my encyclopedia. I didn't even bother reading a couple of the rule books, but we can get into that later.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess where to start.
What do you? So 5e, what's your overall? I guess what's your overall review of 5e? You know what I mean? No stars, just thumbs up, thumbs down. I love it. I hate it. What?
To quote text-to-speech.
Yeah. This is the most Will meme of all time. Go for it.
It was a 3 out of. It was a 3 out of 5. It was all right.
So you're giving 5e a big giant meh, is what you're saying, basically?
Yes.
Okay, I mean that's a pretty hot take. I've heard of people I really hate 5e, and I think meh or it's medium or super mediocre is actually fresh. I have not heard any.
Yeah.
At least
As baby's first RPG, it is the best.
Oh, it's super accessible.
As
Very.
a longtime player of other RPGs, it's very watered down, and for $60, I can go buy a different system that's still compatible with my old stuff.
which system though?
Well, there's quite a few. There's online on DriveThru RPG. You can find stuff like Pathfinder.
Well, see, I knew you were gonna say Pathfinder. Pathfinder rulebook is not at $100, man.
Yeah, still, but you're getting 2 books in one.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, and that's always been a plug for Pathfinder. That's one of the things I like about them, but it's not $60.
But you can also get the PDF too.
No, I know, but I mean,
I want that.
if you're gonna throw figures out there, right? You gotta be, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be on you, man. That's
Shadowrun's rulebook.
Shadowrun is a lot more affordable.
Yep. There's a bunch of little games out there. There's a bunch. There is
Yeah.
Mouse Guard. A lot of people come in GURPS. GURPS is a big one.
Yeah,
that's
GURPS is
exploding
actually
right
pretty
now.
cool.
But yeah, it's just
I know Kevin from the group plays GURPS.
yeah.
His dad.
Masquerade is coming back.
Yeah.
Cthulhu.
They do that
Cthulhu's
Monster
good.
of the Week.
Yeah.
That's kind of a fun one as well.
Yep.
So what's okay? Will's the hot take. So I wanted to know about everyone else's take on 5e just before we moved on. So Nick is always quiet in the corner, but Nick, how do you feel about 5th edition as a system?
It's the only system actually played.
Yeah.
So I'm here mostly to relieve boredom. I enjoy it. I can see other people having issues with it because I looked through Pathfinder and some other rule books, and it is very simple compared to them. And there's lots less like mechanical things that you can do. Like you can do everything, just there's not mechanics built in for those things.
Yeah, I understand. There's not like a rule book full of options for
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And yeah, that's my main takeaway on it.
What do you guys think? Nicole, what do you got?
I learned on 4th edition, and I still have no idea what's going on, and I played that for 2 years. So coming into 5th, it was very refreshing. I can actually build a character now, and I kind of like that you get to be more creative with what you're doing. Like, the last session, I panicked and used Thornwhip to grab a piece of cheese because I needed to get it. Whereas 4th edition, I would have had no option to do that because it's more, like, combat-based than, like, role-play-based.
It's a lot more rigid.
Yeah, and it's more accessible to, like, get into. Like, we had people over and, like, we DM'd, like, a little story with people who would have never played it in previous sessions, and they had fun and were thinking and learning, and I was so proud of them.
I think that's like an easy summary is basically like fourth. It's less stringent than 4th edition.
Yeah.
But like a little easier to get into, say, than like 3.5.
Oh,
Yeah.
the rules are so much like I started on 3.5, and the sort of barrier for entry is just summarized by saying 5e is more brief. Like when you even take a look at like the grapple mechanics, I think it went from 5 paragraphs to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically roll this or that.
Well,
Yeah.
even like
Yeah.
spell casting seems way more easier than it was in 4th. I would have never touched any spellcaster in 4th. Or there was no way I could have figured it out.
There's a significant gripe that I have about spellcasting, but we can get into that
Yeah.
with the classes.
Yeah.
Although it is better than 4th. What do you think, Bryce?
I like 5th edition. It's a good introduction. I've taught new players with 5th edition. It's easy to grasp. But I also agree with Will. It is an introduction. Unlike, say, something outside of the realm of D&D, say Shadowrun, that has a lot more complicated rules and a lot more requirement for this. I enjoy a game like that. Not a lot of people like to read rules to figure out how to grapple something that's 2 pages or 4 paragraphs.
Yeah, but
I'm okay with that, though.
mechanically, like I just want to sit down and play. Like if anything, when I play a different system, it's in an even more streamlined system. Because I don't want to sit down and read
Yeah.
40 pages.
I
of
work an
rules,
8-hour
60
job. I
pages
don't
of
have
rules.
time to read 3 rule books to
It's-
figure out how to do something. 5e was perfect because you could just slide in and I could have barely enough caffeine and figure it out.
It's not that I don't like the more... I actually really enjoy very complicated games, but I'm also totally the type of gamer to, say, open up the new Mortal Kombat and just plug it in and start playing, as opposed to, like, actually look and see what my moves are or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same.
Yeah.
And then figure it out after the fact. Like, if we've been playing forever and I really want to beat my friend, then yeah, I'm looking at the moves list. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if it's... Yeah, so maybe that's kind of that mentality, whereas maybe Bryce and Will are more the guys who can be like, no, man, we're playing. I'm checking out the moves list. Like, F that. You know? Like, I don't care if it takes me time to read. I'm like, let's go, right? I want to do this right and do it well. So... Moving forward, like taking a look at Will, I know you wanted to compare old D&D versus current D&D, and there was a couple things that I wanted to talk about with that. Like I think that like the jump from say like AD&D to 5th edition is night and day,
It's
right?
insane.
Oh
Yeah, like so I was playing Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's like Hero the Fire Valley or something like that. It's a Sega Genesis RP game, and it's kind of got like a top-down map roaming element, and then in the dungeons it's like kind of first person, and you can really cheese the dungeons by like freezing things and just blindly shooting down mile-long corridors that you can't see to kill dragons that only kill you way the fuck down.
Well, I mean, like it's
But-
either kill or be killed.
Oh, yeah.
right? Like
Those
like,
games,
that's
they don't play, man.
yeah.
It's Sega Genesis.
and that's
right? Like-
AD&D too, right? Like
Yeah.
things kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They just straight up kill you. Like there's
They
no.
remade those
But the
games for Xbox.
ACs, so low AC is better, right? So back then it was in the AC and the to hit complication, like the 2-hit calculations were a lot more like ridiculously done. So I think there's no argument that like we've come a long freaking way.
Yeah.
So I think from like first and second. So I think if you're saying like some of the old stuff might be better than some of the new stuff, we're looking more at like 3.5 versus
So
5.
to,
right?
to put perspective, backing up the conversation because I couldn't get in there was
My apologies.
the